So a lot of my influences play 7-string guitar, which is why I picked it up. Like the main guy would be John Petrucci. Like just hearing how that range could actually be added. And I think that there was this stigma with 7 strings that it was really just for the low strings, you know, back when Korn was coming out. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like then people figured out, oh, well, you could just tune your 6-string down. And then when I heard Dream Theater, it was like, wow, you can actually use all 7-string and like use it to your advantage. Use it to create tones and sounds that you wouldn't be able to with just a drop-tuned 6-string. And his lead playing was just inspirational in the way that it was like he was hitting every perfect note. And it made me like want to do that. It made me realize like there's a difference between hitting notes that work and hitting the right note. Someone else who I'd say like does that is Guthrie Govan, like who just manages to effortlessly always hit the right note, even if he's improvising, which is a level that like, you know, I'd strive to get to, but I know I never will because he's just a freak of nature. And in like, you know, like I mentioned, like Alan Holdsworth does that, but in a very sort of alien way. Seriously, if you haven't heard Alan Holdsworth, and it may take a few listens to really grasp it because it is really out there, but his sense of melody is just like you've never heard anything like it. And it just shows you the possibilities of like where melody can go and like how you can sort of voice chords and resolve ideas in like ways that I would never have thought of originally. And then obviously like rhythmically, Meshuggah is a huge influence. Their take on like syncopation and sort of like grooving in ways and hearing riffs in multiple ways, you know, depending on what you're focusing on. And their sense of melody, which is very Holdsworth influence, and sort of took it to like a different level. Like it's just an amazing band to study, and probably the hardest thing to get past with them is like the harsh vocals and the aggressive style of music. But what's interesting is you'll find a lot of non-metal fans get into them because of the musical value that they've brought. They pioneer a new sound with every album, and I often think that they're too good for this world. They really are like 10 years ahead of their time. Another band that like I'd say really influenced like my approach to playing on the guitar is the now broken up Sixth from the UK. Just phenomenal musicians, and once again like hitting all the right notes and in like sort of a catchy way, and using syncopation to their advantage, and really just trying to like, I feel like, flesh out a song to where, you know, like a lot of it could be simplified to like, you know, simple 3 or 4 chord changes, but they just make it really colorful with the way that they voice their chords and like, you know, arpeggiate them out or like choose their notes. So a lot of these bands have been like a huge influence on my playing and my style. And I try to take the best of and like apply it to my own playing. So, you know, a good example of like the sort of Meshuggah influence with like syncopation and that sort of approach would be in our song Jetpacks Was Yes. During the verse, it's sort of grooving on this, like, it's really just based on the same notes, just playing octaves, you know, so. Oh, and also, big Meshuggah influence, the way I actually hit my power chords, I always use 4 notes. Makes it super metallic. You know, if you're just playing like this versus, you can hear the difference. That's what Djent is, by the way. Djent, 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 you know, you hear that. So that's how I like to play that. So that's like what you're playing, and then you're trading off with these octaves. And basically the verse is. Now, like, if you didn't have the context of that, it may be hard to sort of pick the pulse. But if you just imagine, like, and you see, like, a lot of those hits don't really land on the beat, but they land around it. And it makes it sort of a playful kind of vibe.